the feast of the Ascension of the Lord. On this feast of the Ascension of the Lord, I just want to reflect one verse from the Gospel of today. Matthew 28:19. Go therefore, make disciples of all nations. Go therefore and make disciples of all nations. Make disciples of all nations. There is ancient Jewish legend about the ascension of Jesus into heaven. And according to the Jewish legend, when Jesus reached heaven, his body shows still full of marks from his crucifixion. His feet and hands bore the prints of the nails. His side carried the marks of the spear, and his head full of marks of thorns, and of course his backside full of marks from strikes. When the people in heaven saw all these marks, they fell on their knees, and they were so astonished to see how much Jesus loved the people, how much Jesus suffered for people. And one of the angels, Angel Gabriel, said to Jesus, Lord, how greatly you suffered. Lord, how much you suffer on earth. Do all the people on earth know and appreciate how much you went through, how much you love them and suffer for them? And Jesus replied, No. Only a handful of people in Palestine know about this. The rest have not heard. They don't know anything about me. They don't know who I am. They don't know how much I suffered and how much I love them. They were all shocked. Angel Gabriel once again said to Jesus, how will all the rest of the people on earth ever learn about you, about your suffering and about your love then? Jesus said, before I left, I told Peter, James and John and few other friends of mine to tell the rest of the world for me, to go and make disciples of all nations. Tell them that I love them and I suffer for them all. So Peter, James and John and my friends, they will go and tell to people, and those who hear, they will go and tell other people, and eventually, slowly, people will come, everybody will come to know about me, everybody will come to know how much I love them. But the angels in heavens were not satisfied, and Gabriel still looked shocked and said, because he know human beings are fickle, human beings are ungrateful, human beings are forgetful, human beings will be very, very easily get frustrated and tired. And so he said, Lord, but if the apostles grow tired and frustrated, what if they forget you and they begin to even doubt you? Do you have any other plans? Do you take into account of all these things? Jesus answered, I did take all these things into account, but I don't have any other plans. There is no plan B for me. This is the only plan. I am counting on them. I have entrusted Peter, James and John and my other disciples, my friends. I'm counting on them not to let me down. And I'm counting on the people whom the apostles will tell not to let me down. Dear friends, 20 centuries passed. Jesus still doesn't have another plan. Jesus doesn't have plan B. He counted on apostles and they didn't let him down. And now Jesus counts on us. Jesus is counting you and I. There is a song we sing. Jesus has no hands now. It is our hands he depends. Jesus has no feet now. It is our feet he depends. To announce the gospel, to announce to all nations. The feast of the Ascension is one of the most important feasts of the liturgical year in the church. It is the day on which we celebrate Jesus' return to the Father. Jesus often spoke, I'll go to my Father, prepare a place. And on this day, Jesus returned to his Father. We can compare this ascension as a kind of a relay race where we pass the baton from one runner to another runner. Jesus passed the baton to the apostles to the other friends, to the other friends, to the other friends, and today it has reached in our hands. Today it is our turn to pass the baton to the people who have not known Christ. Till today, there are millions of people who have not known Christ. Till today, millions of people have not experienced Christ. Till today, millions of people have never seen Christ. And therefore, it is our duty now to go and make disciples of all nations. What does it mean for us to go and make disciples of all nations? Does it mean that we must go and preach the gospel everywhere in the streets? Or take Bible and rosary and go to the market square telling that Jesus is there? Maybe if required. But there is also another way of carrying out the commission of Jesus. That is to be witnesses and teachers of Jesus in our own homes, in our own workplace, in our own study places. It is to carry out Jesus' commission whenever we find ourselves the opportunity to do so. So we can witness Jesus to others by our love when we find difficult to love, by our patience when others annoy us, our forgiveness when others wrong us, and by our perseverance when we feel like quitting. And that is how we can be a witness to the Lord. Our life speaks much eloquent than our lips do when it comes to witnessing and teaching. People would like to see us living the gospel than preaching pitiful sermons. We always hear, action speaks louder than words. And so Jesus is counting on us today to be his messengers, to be his witnesses, to bear witness with our lives to what we preach. Saint Francis Assisi said, preach the gospel and, if necessary, use words. I repeat, preach the gospel and, if necessary, use words. Let us preach the gospel by our lives. Let us witness Christ to others by our lives. As Jesus ascends into heaven today, may Jesus give us the courage, the blessing to become his witnesses, to become his messengers, to become another Christ, especially for the people who have not known Christ. Amen.